Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trader Minute. It's great to have you on board. I'm Carl. Thanks for tuning in this morning. And looking here at the futures, they're flat. Pretty expected before. Today is the day where the FOMC meeting begins, and tomorrow the announcement's going to come. And it's normal for a day like this, and it's all over the news. You turn on CNBC, you look through the websites, it's all the talk about taper. And so today is what excuse me, what typically is going to happen. It's just going to be a fairly flat day as far as the overall broad market goes. Oil's pretty flat this morning. Gold's down like 11, fairly flat as well. The CPI came out this morning. Is the market going to be focused on the CPI? No. See, the FOMC meeting begins today. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index came out flat. The year-over-year change, 1.2%, 0.2% right in range. Everything was right in range with the CPI. Um, you know, the consumer spending was up a little bit as gas prices were down a little bit. Certain parts of it were up a little bit and down. Just a pretty flat report overall. All right, so nothing there. The announcement comes tomorrow. Tomorrow is a petroleum report, as typical on Wednesdays. The housing starts. The forecast, the FOMC meeting announcements at 2 o'clock Eastern time. And then right after that, the press conference at 2:30 for him to talk about what went on in the meeting there. And this is a big one. We've been talking about this for a little while. Bloomberg surveyed a bunch of economists, and 34% say that the Feds are going to start tapering right after the meeting. That's up from 17% when the same group was surveyed in October. So that's up a little bit. But if you talk to the fund managers out there, only 11% of fund managers are saying that they expect a taper. So it's interesting. The fund managers not really seeing it for the most part. A lot of economists, about 3 times the number of economists, are saying that they're likely to taper after the meeting. So are the boys in the trenches or the ones outside looking in? We'll see. We'll see who's right on that. Big announcement. That's what all the talk's going to be about. Couple stocks noteworthy to show you this morning. Triple M, 3M. They declared a quarterly dividend of 85 cents per share, or 3.2% annualized. That's a 34% increase to the prior dividend. Okay, and even to top that, Boeing. Get a chart, the trading going on at Boeing here. Closed last night at about just above 134.50, 130, just about 138 right now on Boeing. They authorized an additional $10 billion for a share repurchase plan and declared an increase in the quarterly dividend by 50%, just about 50% to their quarterly increase in their dividend, up to 73 cents per share. So big news. On a normal day, you get these type of big market actions like that. It's going to be pretty positive. This type, like a Boeing, that type of a company declaring such news. Today, it's just kind of the market's just kind of taking it in stride. Overall, it's just added a little bit more strength to the market. But the announcement tomorrow is it's going to be a pivotal as to what takes place. And so, is the market going to go up tomorrow? Is the market going to go down tomorrow? Based on if they taper, if they don't taper, really, the announcement isn't what we're looking for. We're looking at the reaction. See what the market does to whatever is announced. That's what you got to watch, is the reaction. Because you can be surprised. You could expect that if the Fed does taper, the market just might start dropping big time because it's been so scared. Yet, is it? We'll find out. I always think those days, those are pretty fun to be able to watch, and we'll be on during that time. Okay. Facebook got an upgrade from a neutral to a positive with the price target at $68. That's up from $52 over at Susquehanna. They also announced that they're going to start selling video advertising. Okay, so a little bit bigger video streaming ads going on, likely to start there, coming to your Facebook page soon. And talked about this one a little bit yesterday with Herbalife. They had a successful re-audit and they were upgraded by a couple of firms out there today. So some good news for Herbalife. Adobe was upgraded to a buy over at Argus. Our positions this morning, looking at the two positions, they're set to open up slightly this morning. Both of them, Halliburton and EMC, both up just marginally this morning. Not a whole lot, no indication of which way they're going to go, but just fairly flat early on like that. Again, the futures right now, yep, they are at zero, no change at all in the futures. Medtronic, they got an upgrade to a buy from Goldman Sachs, and we've looked at Medtronic here in the past. So this morning on the upgrade, they're up about $1 or so pre-market. And let's go over what do we got here? 2 minutes before the open. Last night's top three. Just want to review these quickly. I had some questions on these that came in through email. Top three last night. They're on the website. If you just scroll down right below the window you're looking at right now, it'll say Carl's top three. Occasionally I'll get emails and say, hey, what were your top three? But last night's top three was Best Buy, which is a Vibe Bull, and then General Motors, same thing, Vibe Bull signal, and then Kihu. Now this was a Trendwriter bear signal. And this one, when I saw it earlier on going across the ticker at CNBC, was down slightly. We'll see where it's going to open up. All right. Let's head over here, go to the back here and look at, see where these are going to be opening this morning. As far as, here's Halliburton. Somewhere between the 530 mark and 550 mark is where they're going to be open. That's up, closed last night at 50.13. All right, EMC. Yeah, not a real indication right here. Maybe down a few cents. Is all going to open fairly flat this morning. Excited for these trades. We got fresh new challenge trades out there. Looking for these. We want to get off this $3,000 mark and push up before the end of the year towards the 6,000 and get this ball rolling. It's always fun, and I tell you, I'm like a kid in the candy store. Or the kid on Christmas morning, and when you make some trades to see how they're going to work in the morning, it's always fun. All right, well, the market should be off and running. Let's just run over here. Look at the S&P, opening just flat here. Let's look at EMC. It's up 3 cents. It's showing here on stock charts that it was up earlier. No, I don't think so. It'll probably be fixed here in a little while, but it's just opening flat right now. And then Halliburton up 12 cents. So they've opened up slightly. Right now it's so early, there's not anything to react to. Got to let these play out during the day, but both setups look positive. I'm just reading the chat here. Darren, there's a lot of talk. Most traders you talk to out there in the market are going to tell you they don't expect a taper. And people have been surprised at what the Fed do before, obviously, but most people don't. They don't see how they can start taking that off the table when really the economy is not doing all that much better. And they've laid out Bernanke laid out some things that he wanted to see: employment down below like 6.2%. He wanted to see inflation in check. The big concern, and the reason they even started the whole tapering thing, was the threat of deflation. And that's it. I mean, you got the most brilliant economic minds in the world out there trying to figure out what's going to go on with the taper, and they start to pull that off. No one has an answer. They have theories, but this large of an action has never been done before in history and anywhere. When they've printed money like that in the past, and no one's done it to this extreme, but when they've done that in the past, it's usually resulted in inflation. And I talked a little bit about this a while ago. Some people say we're going to go into hyperinflation, but that's not likely. It's likely we could hit some inflation, but it's still, no one knows what's going to happen, and that's the big threat. It causes uncertainty in the marketplace. When nobody really knows, it causes uncertainty, and whenever the market's uncertain, it's going to sell every time. All right, let's look at last night's top three, yesterday's top three. Best Buy, it's down 26 cents. It's right where it opened, down just slightly this morning. There's nothing to react to here. And then General Motors, it's gapping up about 20 cents. 19 cents is where it's sitting at right now. Still in the upper band, but this day is so young. I'll let this play out. This is a great looking signal. You look at this one here on General Motors. It's a Trendrider bull signal. Get it this way. It's got some good volumes on it. It also is a vibe bull signal. Had both of those going for it last night, and so far this morning, it looks pretty good. Okay, let's go over here. Let's go look at EMC. Oops, not DMC. Sorry. Thanks, Jeff. Typing that in there. EMC just flat, down 2 cents. Nothing here. Nothing to react to so far this morning. So we're going to let these play out. We'll make the decision as to if we're going to hold these into the Fed announcement or not. We've been asked that quite a bit as well. We will make that decision as we get closer to it. Kehu this morning says up 74 cents. But again, you look at that chart, up 74 cents is just nothing. It's still way down there at the lows of yesterday. It still is in the same type of position that we saw last night. Okay, top three from Friday. Morgan Stanley consolidated a little bit yesterday, and so far this morning, it's still below. It's still above the 7, and all the average is rising. It's still showing positive signals. This is a trade. We laid it out. It would have been get in and get out on a stop below the 7. So that's the plan. If it goes below the 7, get out. If it comes to the 7 and it starts to go back up, then hey, you're in the trade. We also had VeriSign on Friday. Just it's flat right now. The old unch, the unchanged. I used to get asked that question all the time. What's unch? It's short for lunch. Micron, okay, I had a sell yesterday. It gapped slightly below the 7 today. Now, it's early in the morning, right? This is one that if it runs back up through the 7 today, man, you got a great looking signal. It'd be a bull vibe signal all over again. But if it closes below the 7, then you're out, right? If you got into Micron, if it closes below the 7, you're out. But right now, just laughing in the chat. That's right, Cricket. All right, so just stick with the plan. If the plan's on a stop below the 7, then wait. If you get a stop below the 7, then move below the 7, then that's where you're at. Okay. Other stocks that we've talked about. We looked at Deere, had a good looking signal on Friday. It ran higher, and I know some of you got into this last Friday, and I think you're pretty happy about right now. We also looked at IBM, had a big breakout day yesterday. Down 73 cents just, for $177 stock. This is just a fraction. Nothing to react to here on IBM on that good looking breakout that we saw yesterday. Medtronics, right? They got an upgrade by Goldman Sachs to a buy today. And they've gapped up. They've reversed pretty hard. Ran up there to just about 57.5 and has already come back about 20 cents from the highs right there. But so early in the day, it'd be a tough one to call. Yeah, DJ, Boeing, they authorized an additional $10 billion for a repurchase plan for their shares and declared an increase in the quarterly dividend upped it by 50% increase to the quarterly dividend. So it's just some huge news out of Boeing. We got out of Deere right before they announced something just like this, an $8 billion addition on Deere, and Boeing, gigantic company, and it's getting a big time reaction too. And I know there was a lot of talk on Boeing yesterday. I don't know if anybody jumped into it, but if you did, hey, good job. Apple this morning, just flat. It's just right there at the 7. A positive sign for this today would be to push up through that 560 mark, going up through the 7. If we can get something like, I'll just draw it in there, right? If we can get a move like this on Apple today, make that a hollow candle right there, and it's going to go to 580, 590. But what I'd like to see here is a push up through the 7 and clear these highs right there. That would be confirmation that this thing's ready to run. It's too early to tell right now. There's no call. A push back down below the 7 and back down off the 560 mark would be bearish. It could go to 550, even down to the 540 level. But to me, Apple's at kind of a turning point. It's got to move back up through that 7 to stay bullish. A push lower would not be a good thing to see this push back down below 560 and clear. So on the opposite side of the coin here, if this did turn around like this today, you get a push down below 560, down off of 560 and down off of 7 and clear these lows from the last 2 days right there. Very bearish. That could pop down, but it's too early to call. Either way right there, a push up through the 7 or big push back down would be very positive for Apple, or it's going to give you some to tell you which way it's going to go there. So AK Steel, this had a nice looking signal yesterday. This is a bull vibe signal from yesterday. And look at the averages here, rising. The MACD is off your screen there, but it's rising. It got a nice uptrend established. And then $6. Oops, a little bit high there, but $6. That was a little bit of resistance that we saw. It hit it a couple weeks ago over in this range. Came back up, pushed up through it yesterday. Volumes aren't big, but you don't necessarily always need those volumes. But watch this one today. It's too early to tell right here with anything. But watch. I mean, this pushes continuing to push higher right here. It's going to be off and running. Now it's just a $6 stock, so this thing's moved another 50 cents or so. That's going to be a pretty big move for it. But it's not any type of a trend rider. It's mainly a vibe signal. Just watch it and see if it comes back a little bit, hits 6, and then closes and runs back up higher. It would be very positive. But it's too early. No type of indication here at all. Oh, good, Mike. So the market, down 4. It should be a fairly flat day today. I don't expect any type of big moves. KeyBank. So another one yesterday with a bull vibe signal. A little bit of a pullback. It's down 16 cents. That's 1% for this stock. Watch that 7. The 7 would be the stop. If it closed below the 7, then you're out. And then it's too early. What would be really bullish for this is if it turned around and went positive today and closed above yesterday's high. But we'll see what's going to happen. I don't expect a lot of moves here from the banks today ahead of the big decision as well. But that's what I look for. No, there's not really any indication here. It started breaking the 7. I might get a little bit worried, but it's got to tell me at the close that that's what it's going to do. The target on AKS, this one I'd probably give it another 50 cents. Might go up towards 7. It's this thing when it moves. Last time here it was at 5. It took it a while. Really a few big days right here. You get something like this, another 50 cents on it would be pretty easy. This moved about 80 cents. This could be I'd watch it probably another 80 cents higher in that range. It's going to kind of mirror this move right here most likely. It's got to hold that $6 level is what you're looking for it to do. And you've heard me say a lot of times when stocks break up through their resistance levels, they'll come back and retest it as support. And so a great sign to be this pull back a little bit, hit 6 again, and then run higher at the end of the day would be a very positive sign for it. Right now, it's still holding its own. It's up 5 cents. Our positions, right? Halliburton, we got the January week 2 $50 calls here in Halliburton, down just 15 cents at the moment. We're just retesting that $50 level is all we're doing. Nothing to react to. EMC, just flat. Same thing, nothing to react to here as well. Okay, everybody, I'll be on with chat all day long today. If you have any questions, you can reach me through chat. You can also reach me through email. It's carl@traderminute.com. Jeff will be around as well. Thanks for tuning in this morning. I'll talk to you a little bit later on. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.